Respect for international law is being trampled. Rules governing the use of force and the conduct of hostilities are ignored. Justice is meant to be blind. But today, too many are choosing to turn a blind eye to justice itself. Around the world, and starkly in the Middle East, respect for international law is being trampled. Rules governing the use of force and the conduct of hostilities are ignored. Civilians are exposed to intolerable harm, humanitarian obligations are disregarded, and even the protections afforded to the United Nations and our personnel are violated. This wholesale assault on international law has consequences. Lawlessness breeds chaos. Lawlessness fuels suffering. Lawlessness leads to destruction. And this is not the moment to retreat from international law. It's the moment to reaffirm it. That is why later this week I will travel to The Hague to mark the 80th anniversary of the International Court of Justice. The ICJ is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations and the pillar of the international legal order. For 8 decades, the Court has fulfilled that role with distinction. But this visit is not simply about commemorating an anniversary. It's about sending an unmistakable message. A message that the United Nations stands firmly behind the institutions and principles designed to protect peace, justice, sovereignty, and human dignity. A message that international law applies to all states without exception, and that respect for its rules is not optional. A message that in a world moving toward greater fragmentation and sharper power competition, international law is indispensable. Without it, instability spreads, mistrust deepens, and conflicts spiral out of control. This applies everywhere, and it applies urgently to the conflict in the Middle East. There is no military solution to this crisis. Peace agreements require persistent engagement and political will. Serious negotiations must resume, and the ceasefire must be preserved and extended as necessary. International navigational rights and freedoms, including in the Strait of Hormuz, must be respected by all parties. It's time for restraint and responsibility. It's time for diplomacy over escalation. And it's time for a renewed commitment to international law. In relation to the first question, I have to say that I consider essential that these negotiations go on. I think it would be unrealistic to expect to such a complex problem, long-lasting problem, could be resolved in the first session of a negotiation. So we need negotiations to go on, and we need a ceasefire to persist as negotiations go on. On the other hand, the SURF has attributed $12 million to our country team in order to be able to provide effective humanitarian assistance to people in dire need of that assistance. The indication we have is that it is highly probable that these talks will restart. I had today a meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan, and I want to take profit of this occasion to express my enormous admiration to Pakistan for the very important initiative that Pakistan has been assuming in order to bring peace to the Middle East.
Kecepatan informasi dan akurasi data adalah komitmen kami. Satu langkah lebih dekat, satu langkah lebih terpercaya. Saksikan Sapa Indonesia Malam di Kompas TV channel